Deep in the Arabian desert lies an ancient empire carved directly into the rock. The people of Thamud did not just survive the harsh terrain, they dominated it. With heavy iron hammers and crude chisels, they struck the solid granite. Their rulers sat on heavy stone thrones, commanding absolute power. They built a sprawling city straight into the cliff faces. They felt completely untouchable. Because their walls were stone, they believed their legacy was permanent. The wealthy elites gathered around their fountains, laughing, while the common men dragged massive stones under the watchful eyes of guards. Among them stood Prophet Salih. He walked through their markets with a heavy warning. He told them their power was temporary. The rulers stared at him with pure contempt. Sitting high on their platforms, they pointed their fingers and issued an impossible challenge. They pointed to a massive, barren rock standing alone in the dunes. "Bring a living creature out of that dead stone." The entire city gathered in a massive circle. Salih dropped his face to the sand and prayed. The crowd held its breath. Suddenly, the solid granite began to crack. A massive shockwave shattered the rock face. People scrambled in panic as the mountain tore open. A miracle emerged. A giant she-camel burst through the rubble. She stood tall before the stunned crowd. She walked peacefully through the narrow city streets. The same elites who mocked Salih now backed away in absolute terror. The camel drank deeply from the city's stone well. Salih commanded them to share the water. The camel would drink one day, the people the next, but the sight of her poisoned the minds of the proud chiefs. Even as she slept quietly outside their doors, she was a breathing reminder of a higher authority. Greed and pride cannot rest. As night fell over the mountain city, 9 men gathered in secret around a fire. They made a pact to erase the miracle. They dragged their iron blades across sharpening stones, preparing for violence. Bare feet moved silently down the stone corridors. They surrounded the sleeping animal in the dark, completely blind to the consequences. By dawn, the heavy winds blew over her lifeless body. Salih stood over the tragedy, a dark shadow cast over the ruins of his city's soul. Up on the walls, the elites raised their spears and cheered, thinking they had won. Salih raised his hands to the sky and delivered a terrifying final prophecy. "You have 3 days. On day 1, the faces of the guilty turned a sickly, pale yellow. Panic set in as families huddled in their dark rooms. By day 3, the skin of the arrogant turned completely black. The streets fell dead silent. Then the sky bled into a bruised, violent crimson. The air grew incredibly heavy. They braced themselves inside their fortress. But the punishment did not come from an army. A massive gust of wind swept the floors. It came as a sound. A catastrophic shockwave ripped through the stone corridors, blasting everything in its path. They died, frozen in prostration. The stone did not break, but the life was erased. A lone figure walked out of the massive gates, leaving the silence behind. The city remained, a silent monument under the stars, warning us that physical strength means nothing against the command of the Creator.